Hi everyone, my name is Apuraj Garakapati. Welcome to my YouTube channel Amazing Abhai.
Ride into another world.
Willing to defeat it so that Song Fei would become king, swearing to follow him no matter where he went. The monster opened its mouth and launched a burst of fire towards Song Fei, putting him on alert. But just before the burst of fire could get close, one of his fans stepped in the way, taking the attack fully. Song Fei took the girl's hand and began to show a sad gaze, while the woman's body was disappearing. With tears in her eyes, she swore to do anything for him. The chubby girl tightly grabbed her magic staff and told the others to get angry, since if they killed this ugly monster, brother Song Fei would be able to ascend to first place in the ranking. He had to surpass Shadow. This made the others excited. Raising their weapons, they swore to conquer the world, dominate the heavens and fight alongside Song Fei. They summoned several powerful spells, causing thunderbolts to strike the monster. Song Fei realized that it was going to die. Knowing that this silver tier boss was hard to kill, he couldn't help but wonder how someone had been able to defeat a gold tier boss alone. He was sure that Shadow had used a buck. Song Fei had many fans helping him and was only level 7. He didn't know how Shadow leveled up so fast. A smile spread across his face, since once he defeated this silver tier boss, he was going to level up to 8. He knew that Shadow had been stuck at level 9 for a long time, so he decided to take the opportunity to surpass him and become the #1 player of the God-forsaken game. Just then, a hand surrounded by Shadow grabbed Song Fei by the mouth. In the blink of an eye, Qin Feng decapitated Song Fei and using instant Shadow Slash, cut his body into pieces. Blood began to emerge from the mouth of the bastard Song Fei. His fans went into shock, and just before they could take another breath, Qin Feng attacked again. Moving like thunder, he cut the bodies of the fans and of the boss into pieces. A system window appeared, informing that the boss had been defeated and granting him 15-throw experience points. The boss fell to the ground and its body began to transform into lifespan. The players were in shock, since they couldn't believe that Shadow had killed the boss with a single strike. A single attack from Shadow did thousands of points of damage. While theirs only did 100 points of damage, Shadow was 10 times stronger than them. The corpse of the boss transformed into orbs of lifespan and Qin Feng deactivated his stealth skill. The smartest players realized that it had been an AoE attack. They couldn't believe that a single attack had killed Song Fei and all his gang of fans. Upon observing closely, they saw Shadow and remembered that he was the one who had achieved the first global kill of the gold tier boss. They decided to leave and let Shadow have the loot. They began to cheer for Shadow for having avenged them by killing Song Fei's gang. Qin Feng knew that they were only afraid of being attacked, and that's why they could only join forces to attack him. In his past life, he would not have hesitated to kill them. At the same time, Song Fei responded again in Firefly Town. The system reported that he had been killed by Shadow, and he lost within 106 days of tradable lifespan and 18 years and 113 days of non-tradable lifespan. Song Fei panicked and realized that Shadow had come to Firefly Town. He couldn't believe that out of the hundreds of starter towns in Jiang City, he had come to his to steal the kill. His fans also respond again. The chubby girl felt confused to see that Song Fei had also died. The other girl was furious since she didn't know why Shadow had killed them. The other thought that Shadow wanted to steal the silver tier boss. According to them, he was evil for taking advantage of Song Fei being distracted to launch a surprise attack. Just then, an archer approached Song Fei and with a nervous expression asked if she could join his team, revealing that she had the skill called Eagle Eye and she could detect invisible enemies. Song Fei's fans told the girl to get lost, since he had said he only wanted mages in his party. The chubby girl thought her efficiency at killing monsters was too low, and she would only affect Song Fei's progress in the ranking. Song Fei extended his arms and explained that although she was an archer, she could be part of his family, since he believed that love could fill everything. He took the woman's hand and with a kind expression mentioned that he had felt her strong emotions. It didn't matter if she was an archer. He decided to let her join his team, swearing they would strive together to level up. Having Song Fei so close made her blush, and tears of joy began to flow from her eyes. An assassin appeared and mentioned that she could also become invisible, swearing that she was going to make Shadow pay for having killed him. The mage revealed that she had learned a new AoE skill and could freeze Shadow. Song Fei extended his arms, making it clear that his family was full of love. Any girl who wanted to join his team was welcome. The girls began to cry with joy and swore to stand by Songfei forever. According to them, Shadow had no honor for having attacked their beloved Songfei by surprise. They promised that he was going to pay the price. As soon as they found Shadow, they were going to let Songfei kill him so that he could learn what happened when someone messed with Songfei. The attention of two players focused on them. They didn't know what Songfei wanted to do now, but they were aware that someone had killed him out there. Being very satisfying, they remembered that there were many girls protecting Songfei, so they didn't know how he had been killed. But then they realized it must have been Shadow. According to them, Shadow was incredible, and seeing the girls crying for Songfei, they thought these girls were not right in the head. A smile spread across Songfei's face, as he was confident that with so many people as witnesses, when he defeated Shadow, everyone would know that it was useless to be strong if one fought alone, especially being an assassin. According to him, Shadow was a soft assassin who had dared to challenge a great and noble mage like him. At the same time, Qin Feng picked up the loot using Greedy Hand, obtaining 16 evolution points, 217 days of tradable lifespan, 6 pieces of silver tier loot, and 1 piece of golden tier loot. Qin Feng decided to evolve the skill Graceful Liberation. Consuming 10 out of 19 points, the skill went from epic to legendary. The passive effect Weak Point Attack Correction went from 100% to 200%, and the weak point attack multiplier was doubled. The active effect also improved. The next attack was going to trigger Throat Slit effect, causing 150% attack damage per second instead of 100%. With a duration of 3 seconds, the cooldown of the skill went from 30 seconds to 18.5. The weak point hit correction had increased by 100%, reaching 200%, which equal doubling the target's weak point. If it was amplified even more, half of the enemy's body would be considered a weak point. He feared that even his Shadow Slash could deal weak point damage. The initial epic level skill, with 0 evolution points, could evolve to legendary. However, to evolve it from legendary to mythical, it required 100 times more evolution points. It needed 200 points to evolve from legendary to mythical. According to this pattern, the epic level Greedy Hand was going to require 210 evolution points to evolve. And when it reached legendary, evolving it was going to require 34 0 points. He had 9 evolution points left, so he decided to evolve Backstab Enhancement. Qin Feng spent 8 points and the skill Backstab Enhancement went from gold to platinum, and the damage of the passive effect increased from 30% to 40%. A silver tier boss, plus the group of players, had given him a total of more than 14 days of tradable lifespan. His mission had been fulfilled, so he decided it was time to return. While Qin Feng was distracted, a girl tried to attack him by surprise. She'd intended to kill him. Shadow began to observe her in silence, and dodged the attack without much effort. The girl attacked again, but he evaded it again without problems. The girl was in shock to see that he could dodge all her attacks. Without wasting any more time, she used stealth and disappeared. Just then, Songfei's fans appeared on top of the cliff. They had cornered him and swore to avenge Songfei's. The mages of Songfei's raised their magic staffs, and the archer who had just joined the team began to aim her bow at Qin Feng. They were furious and swore to avenge Songfei's. Qin Feng used stealth and disappeared into the air, becoming a shadow. Upon seeing this, the archer used her skill called Eagle Eye and made it clear that Qin Feng's invisibility was useless. Her arrow transformed into a ghost eagle until several seconds later it exploded and its feathers began to descend from the sky like drops of rain. Before we move ahead, please take a second to like on this video. A like tells me that you enjoyed this topic. Your support helps Amazing Apai grow naturally. The feathers began to fall on the assassin from Songfei's party and her stealth was deactivated, making her visible. The chubby girl clenched her fist and felt happy believing they had detected Qin Feng. She gave the order to the others to use their most powerful skills and attack with everything. Following her order, Songfei's fans used their most powerful skills to attack. A rain of powerful spells began to descend upon the assassin. Seeing this, she panicked and tried to tell them that she was not Qin Feng. It was already too late, as the spells hit her body directly, creating a great explosion. Instead of feeling sad, the chubby girl felt furious, and she didn't care about this anyway because she wasn't a mage, and that showed that she didn't sincerely love Songfei's. According to her, this was a punishment from heaven for her falseness. She gave the order to the archer to launch the eagle again to find Shadow. The archer nodded with her head, but at that moment, King Feng took out the ghost fire bell and started shaking it, activating its active effect called Soul Attack, which could immobilize all enemies within a range of 100 meters for 3 seconds, with a cooldown of 521 seconds. Just before the archer could use her skill called Eagle Eye again, an aura appeared around her body and those of her friends, leaving them immobile. Seeing this, they felt confused. Just before they could take another breath, King Feng appeared and using instant slash attack like thunder, cutting their bodies into pieces without even giving them a chance to react. Song Fei, who was hiding behind the corner, peeked his head out and felt confused, not knowing what was happening or why they had suddenly died. At first, he thought the culprit was Shadow, but then dismissed this idea since if he had made a move, he would have revealed himself. King Feng, who was invisible, approached him and with an arrogant gaze made it clear that his death was near. Upon hearing Shadow's voice, Song Fei's eyes widened in fear and surprise, making him tremble. Without losing another second, he activated his magic shield, causing a powerful shield to appear around him, but to his surprise, King Feng launched a poison dart which passed through Song Fei's shield without much trouble, breaking it into pieces. The dart hit him squarely on the forehead, making the bastard Song Fei fall to the ground and start screaming in agony. Song Fei's body transformed into orbs of lifespan. King Feng deactivated stealth and upon seeing that Song Fei had so much remaining lifespan, he realized that originally he had more than 2,000 days of tradable lifespan. Song Fei's body disappeared, leaving only lifespan. King Feng began to observe it and felt somewhat confused since he didn't know why his fans had no tradable lifespan, realizing that they had given all their lifespan to Song Fei. A lot of time had already passed and there were still people thinking that the godforsaken game was just a game. The crazy fans were truly terrifying. For our boy, it was a shame since the tradable lifespan added up in total to several hundreds of years and now it was only going to go to the nearby monsters. Back in Firefly Town, Song Fei and his fans respond again. Song Fei was furious since out of more than 2,000 days of tradable lifespan now he only had 500 left. With the confused gaze he asked the archer why she hadn't been able to find King Feng using her detection skill. She'd explained that she had indeed used this skill, but the only thing she had found was their assassin sister. The chubby girl mentioned that she could see there was stealth level in her attribute panel. She didn't know if Shadow's stealth level was higher than they expected. The archer revealed that her Eagle Eye skill had a counter stealth level of 1, so she could only see targets with a level 1 stealth. If the opponent had a higher stealth level, she couldn't detect them. Song Fei felt frustrated since Shadow attacked and disappeared without leaving a trace. He didn't know how to defend against that. Touching his face, Song Fei thought that he had not offended Shadow, and now that he had also taken the boss kill, Shadow had no reason to come after him again. But then he thought maybe Shadow was jealous of his unparalleled beauty and was going to come kill him again. Song Fei's fans raised their weapons and decided for everyone's safety to level up somewhere else. Wherever Song Fei wanted to go, they swore to follow him. Not long after, King Feng also returned to Firefly Town. After searching for a while, he thought this was strange. Since Song Fei and the others had left, he didn't know if they had gone to another town or log off. Deactivating stealth, our boy asked a player who was in the area if he knew where Song Fei and the others had gone. Upon seeing Shadow, the man couldn't help but feel afraid. Pointing to one side, the man revealed that Song Fei and his fans had gone in that direction. He begged Shadow to please kill Song Fei. He also had a request. After killing Song Fei, he asked King Feng if he could spare the life of his girlfriend, a female hunter named One Flying Treasure Cat. Our boy advised the man to look for another girlfriend, realizing that his girlfriend was the hunter who could detect invisibility. Using stealth, our boy disappeared again. The man began to beg, saying that he had worked very hard to find her. Although King Feng knew the direction in which they had gone, he had no idea where they were heading, and searching everywhere was going to take too much time. The man put his hand near his mouth and started calling Shadow. Our boy knew that things would be much easier if he could find Guizhou. At that moment, a woman passed by his side and his attention fixed on her, leaving him somewhat surprised. This girl was none other than Guizhou. Our boy deactivated stealth and with a cheerful gaze called her beautiful and asked if she could help him. Upon seeing Shadow, she couldn't help but feel surprised. King Feng took out the golden grade staff from his inventory and mentioned that he had heard that her class could search for targets in a wide area. He promised that if she could find Song Fei, as a reward he would sell her the staff at a bargain price. Seeing this, Guizu's eyes began to shine with excitement. She opened her system window and asked how he knew that she could search over a wide area. She remembered never having told anyone about it. King Feng asked if she wanted this golden grade weapon, and she said yes even though she didn't know if she could afford it. With a confused expression, King Feng asked if she didn't even have 500 days of tradable lifespan, revealing that the original price was at least 700 or 800 days. Upon checking her system window, she realized that she did have 700 days to buy the staff. Hearing this, our boy made a deal with her and handed over the staff. A system window appeared to confirm that the transaction had been successful. She took the staff and started drooling. Our boy gave her a gentle tap on the cheeks so she'd stop drooling, asking her to hurry up. Upon hearing this, she blushed and nodded with a smile. Using the new staff, she began to use her powers and concentrated. Even though it was the first time she met Shadow, he gave her a strangely familiar feeling. Her all began to fly around her, and she asked if Shadow wasn't afraid that she would take things and leave without helping him. With a serene expression, our boy asked if she didn't hate Song Fei, seeing that he knew that she hated Song Fei. Guizu's eyes widened in surprise. She didn't know if Shadow could be a friend of hers in real life, but his voice didn't seem like it. King Feng started to smile and decided that she should guess. She raised her hand and they all began to fly. She was too lazy to guess. Just then, her eyes widened in surprise. They all began to fly over the town, and in the distance in the middle of the canyon she saw Song Fei and his fans. Her all finally found where Song Fei was hiding in the rocky canyons and quickly told King Feng the place. She also told him to hurry because Song Fei and his friends might leave before he got there. They all could fly fast, but following them for too long could make it really tired. Shadow, ready to go, told her not to worry because he'd be there super quick. Right then, King Feng took off like a shot, zooming over rocks and through rough spots without slowing down. But then, they all stopped flying. That made King Feng stop too, because it meant something was messing with their tracking. He looked around and saw a tree with a weird sign on it. Wanting to know more, he got in touch with you again and she had they all check the area. Soon, they all found 2 more trees with the same signs. One was 100 meters ahead. Before we move ahead, please take a second to share on this video. Sharing helps this video reach friends who may also enjoy anime, gaming, travel, cricket, chess, career basics, or personal stories. Your support helps Amazing Abhai grow naturally. And another was 100 meters to the left. King Feng went up to each tree, touching the symbols very carefully. When he touched all 3 with a bit of his energy, a bright light connected them. Then, the ground in the middle started shining and suddenly, a treasure chest with a bright green light and golden glow appeared. Feng was shocked. A treasure like this in a simple place like Firefly Town. He could hardly believe it. These treasures left by ancient gods were super rare and could pop up anywhere. Some brought monsters, some unleashed swarms of beasts, and some, like this one, had incredible treasures. You watching through her owl couldn't believe it either. The green chest could be worth 1,000 days of someone's lifespan, or over 10 million in real money. King Feng couldn't help but admire Yu's quick thinking. Back in his previous life, a year of someone's lifespan was worth 10,000 at the start, but it quickly jumped to 50,000 by the second day. Yu, still intrigued, started to take note of the symbols for later. A smart look was in her eyes. There was no telling what secrets her skills in tracking could uncover. Then King Feng went ahead and opened the chest. Inside, there was a skill book with a dark aura called Curse of the Blossoms, a powerful emerald-level ability. This skill let curse flowers grow from a defeated enemy, making their tradable lifespan drop to 0. It didn't have a cool-down period, but it had to be used within 15 seconds after someone died. Feng remembered how dangerous this spell was in his previous life. Every enemy he defeated could turn into an advantage. If he managed to defeat Song Fei again and watched over the body for a short time, he could take everything from him. A sinister smile appeared on his face. This time, Song Fei wouldn't just be defeated, he would be completely drained. As King Feng hurried toward his target, the scene changed. Somewhere far away in a Canaan, Songfei's biggest fans were busy fighting a boss, hitting it hard while Songfei stayed back, waiting to land the last blow. Songfei was overconfident, sure that King Feng wouldn't chase them this far, especially since King Feng had already beaten a silver-level boss and embarrassed him twice. That should have been the end of it. But Songfei was mistaken. Right when the boss was about to go down, the girl who was a bit heavier noticed another group fighting a different boss nearby. Songfei, smooth as ever, convinced his fans once more. He said the other group were fans of her rival idol, trying to make him look bad. The faces of his fans twisted with anger. No one was going to outdo their dear Songfei. Without a second thought, they charged at the other group. The other team, thinking they were about to get some help, welcomed them. But before they could even say hello, the heavy girl slammed her staff down, knocking out their leader in one hit. The rest of the team was shocked as Songfei's fans turned on them, madly talking about idols and fate. When one of the enemy tried to ask what was going on, they were quickly shut down by a spell. Then, in a strange turn, the fans started spouting odd poems, talking up Songfei like he was some kind of god. After they took out the other team, the girls made way for their golden prince Songfei to finish off the boss. Songfei kept up his act, pretending to be grateful and showering them with thanks that didn't mean a thing. He made up stories about almost getting caught in an ambush and called them heroes. His words made them all blush and giggle. They were totally caught up in his make-believe world. But that was the end of it. At the same time, Shadow appeared at the edge of the cannon. Songfei felt something wasn't right and got a cold feeling down his back. But by the time he turned around, it was too late. Feng's sword moved through the air like it was meant to punish, striking in an instant. Songfei's head was cut off in one smooth motion, and his body fell to the ground. This time, Shadow didn't just leave after the deed was done. He knelt down next to Songfei's body and used the curse of the blossoms. A big red flower grew right out of Songfei's chest, its petals moving like they were alive, sucking away the tradable lifespan from the young troublemaker. The fangirls watched in shock, not able to make sense of what was happening right in front of them. Then, the scene changed, and Songfei was back at Firefly Town's portal, feeling confused and annoyed, still not getting why Shadow was always after him. In his confused way of thinking, he decided it must be jealousy. Maybe Shadow was upset about all the attention from the fangirls, or perhaps one of those girls was someone Shadow had feelings for. Songfei convinced himself that Shadow's constant showing up in Firefly Town was part of some complex revenge scheme. While he was lost in his wild guesses, a system alert popped up, scaring him with the news that his tradable lifespan was going down fast, much more quickly than just from dying. At first, he thought it was some kind of penalty for dying too much, but before he could really figure it out, his fan club started showing up at that portal as well. A heavier mage girl was among them, out of breath, telling Songfei about the creepy red flower that grew from his body, clearly taking away something important. Songfei quickly figured it out. The curse flower and his disappearing lifespan were Shadow's doing, thanks to a scary new ability. The realization hit him hard, and he suddenly ordered his fans to log off. He knew if they kept losing to Shadow, their tradable lifespan could drop to 0, which meant actual death. Still acting the leader, he called them his family, promising to step into the real world to extend their lifespan, and come back with new gear bought with the lifespan they had saved up. The girls, still totally under Songfei's spell, were all in, imagining their big return to Shadow with new power. Even his Songfei disappeared from the game. Anger and frustration warped his face. He wasn't ready to see this as a loss. After working for 2.5 years to get to where he was, he couldn't stand the thought of being taken down by some unknown player. In his mind, with enough money, he could crush any obstacle. He just needed some time. Back where the fight had happened, red flowers were everywhere, each one growing from a fallen player, quietly taking away the tradable lifespan from Songfei's fans. With Shadow's relentless attacks, his rank as a killer had jumped to level 4, making the loss of tradable lifespan upon death a staggering 96.8%. But Shadow wasn't bothered by this at all. Shadow figured out that this surprise attack had just added about 1,000 days to his lifespan, all thanks to Songfei and his misguided followers. They had done the hard work of defeating monsters only to end up giving their gains to him. But the bounty didn't last forever. The flowers started to fade and the energy stopped flowing. Shadow realized that the players had logged off to avoid losing more of their lives. Above, the white owl kept flying in silence. Yui had watched the whole thing, and even she was taken aback by such a show of strength. Seeing what the top player could really do was something else. When Shadow asked Yui if Songfei had really logged off, she nodded, saying the whole group had disappeared to save themselves some time. Shadow told her calmly to keep an eye out and to let him know if Songfei ever came back. When she wondered if her job was, before we move ahead, please take a second to like on this video. A like tells me that you enjoyed this topic. Your support helps Amazing Appy grow naturally. Over, Shadow said to stay on it a bit longer. He had just gotten a golden tier priest skill called Sword of Divine Judgment, and her interest was immediately piqued. She really wanted that skill. Seeing her interest, Shadow made her an offer. He'd trade this skill for 500 days of her lifespan, but he'd cut the price in half if she agreed to one thing. Yui's eyes narrowed and she quickly said she wasn't going to trade her dignity, which caught Shadow off guard. He heard it to explain she had the wrong idea. He just wanted her to join his team as their main healer. She relaxed and laughed, agreeing right away, but warned him she'd hold him responsible if the team was a disaster. Shadow reassured her they were a solid group and decided to get in touch with them immediately. Then the story moves to a different part of the game world, where Wang Meng was feeling proud after defeating a poisonous monster, happy about the experience points. He called over to Ju for a heal and something to counter the poison. Ju was stuck not knowing what to do. Wang tried to remind her again about her priest class's ability to remove toxins, but before she really got what he was saying, she accidentally used the skill on a tree instead of helping Wang, who needed it. As time ran out, Wang fell to the ground, succumbing to the poison. His victory over the monster wasted. The team was left in shock, frustration simmering as they looked at Feng's sister, unable to believe how useless she had been. Standing near the teleportation stone later, the team leader faced a tough decision. He knew they needed a new healer since every skilled hidden class priest was already taken, but they couldn't continue like this. Xiao, on the other hand, was blissfully ignorant of her failure, lost in fantasies of being the chosen one, a goddess in this new realm. She believed her quick leveling was a sign of her destined greatness and anticipated joining her brother Songfei in glory. But at that moment, news from Shadow reached Wang Ming, bringing a surge of excitement. A hidden class healer, a white bird priest, had agreed to join their team. She was also strong in other roles. This was the chance they were waiting for, and the leader immediately asked Shadow for her location. Shadow told them the new healer was in Firefly Town. It wasn't the best place for leveling up, but it was important to get together and start moving as a team. Wang agreed and got ready to head there, but he knew he had to address the issue with Xiao first. He carefully told her they were moving to a zone with higher levels because Shell Town was too crowded. He said it in a way that made it seem like her low level was the only issue to avoid hurting her feelings. But before she could respond, the whole team took off, clearly happy to leave behind a healer who couldn't actually heal. Xiao didn't seem bothered, though. She saw their leaving as a good thing, thinking they weren't strong enough for her anyway. She decided she'd find Shadow and make him help her level up. Meanwhile, Wang made it to Firefly Town and found Shadow. And right away, he gave them the lifespan he'd gotten from their last fight, ready to settle up and get going with the new team setup. As they moved forward, Wang realized just how challenging it was to keep up in this game. While making plans, he brought up a new ally, a captain named Ian Yu. Hearing that name made Shadow stop dead in his tracks, his thoughts racing. That name wasn't just random. Then suddenly she showed up, greetings with a cheerful wave. Ian Yu caught the attention of both men right away. Shadow was in disbelief. The woman standing before them was the Ian Yu, also known as Justice Execution, the only one in the game with the Dragon Swordsman hidden class. In Shadow's previous life, she was in the top 20 players worldwide and played a crucial role for the country's official forces. She was a national hero respected and feared. Then there she was, showing up early, glowing and looking at Shadow with clear admiration. Ian Yu introduced herself with a warm smile, admitting her admiration for Shadow. She even half-joked about him being a time traveler or a reincarnated hero because of how quickly he was advancing. Shadow stayed quiet, his mind wandering back pre his past there where their paths had crossed later and under much grimmer conditions. She hadn't been part of Wang's team back then, which made this early encounter quite the surprise. She likely had a good amount of tradable lifespan already, probably gathered for government groups. As a dragon swordsman, known for their toughness, she was an ideal candidate to hold such power. Shadow saw the wisdom in the government's choice and respected it. Ian Yu was straightforward, too. She told him if he had any gear to sell, she and her group were interested in buying. She sweetly but firmly reminded him of the responsibility she carried for her city. Shadow saw no benefit in opposing her, and they both understood that. He agreed, mentioning it would be short-sighted to pass up a chance for such a beneficial deal. Though Ian Yu appeared cheerful and unthreatening, King Feng knew well there was much more beneath the surface. The fans of Song Fei logged out of the game. They had seen the official announcement that left them in shock. Lifespan and God-forsaken game was real, and if it reached 0, one would die in the real world. The archer was furious, and she realized this wasn't just a game. She had given all her tradable lifespan to Song Fei. Some of them only had a few days of lifespan left. The assassin had killed several players and had the assassin stat, and dying one more time was going to make her lose double the lifespan. They were in shock. They couldn't believe how it was possible that dying 3 times cost so much lifespan. The chubby girl began to read the messages, and her face filled with sweat. She realized, cursing to herself, that in the game, as a tank mage, she had always charged at the front. She had killed many people and died many times, so now she only had 1 day of lifespan left. If it reached 0, she was going to die. Just then something caught her attention. Brother Song Fei was buying lifespan. That was great. She decided to go find Brother Song Fei, thinking that he would definitely help her. Quickly, she changed clothes and thought about putting on Brother Song Fei's support outfit from head to toe, thinking that it was great and that she was going to find Brother Song Fei, who would definitely help her. She even mentioned Brother Song Fei's latest release, the Song Fei Ultra Thin Anti-Side Leak. She dressed in Song Fei's merchandise, and without wasting a second, she left her house and started heading to the concert. Not far away, there were some apartments. Qin Feng's sister also logged out of the game. She didn't know if she was in the real world, since now it was hard for her to tell the difference. She turned on her phone and couldn't help but smile when seeing that. At that rate, 1 day of lifespan could be sold for 15,000. With the 200 days she had left, she could become a millionaire. But then she went into shock when she saw that Shadow had killed Song Fei 3 times. She couldn't help but cry from sadness and fury, since she remembered that they had told her that if her lifespan reached 0 in the game, she would truly die in real life. Even having 100 years of non-tradable lifespan, dying 3 times had left her with barely 12 years remaining. Then she remembered Brother Song Fei and wondered why Shadow had killed him. According to the group chats, Shadow, despite being surrounded by dozens of people, had managed to kill Song Fei 3 times. To her, he was something so terrifying and incredibly strong. The chubby girl started sending messages through the chat, saying that Brother Song Fei needed help. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to Amazing Apai. Subscribing makes sure you do not miss the next video, and it gives me motivation to keep improving the quality of every upload. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one.